Here we go, man. We're live. Did you know
Right.
that, Mitch?
Grab some paper, everyone. Take some notes.
Here we go.
Baby. Okay, everyone. This is another vital lesson because you will, as Asif says, you will goof yourself, right? That's one of my favorite Asif words. Much like
Goof and juice.
you sound, you know you're doing something right. So here's what's up, right? Everyone likes to think, oh, I'm like learning, right? I'm like a lifelong student, right? I keep learning, man. I'm willing to learn. I'm, all that shit. But it's very easy to trick yourself in your mind to think you are learning. But what is the best definition of learn? Right? What does it actually mean to learn? Okay, we'll get into that in a minute here. All right, but Asif, you want to give us a little context here behind this, because I know you and I have both supported an immense amount of people in terms of helping them to actually change and get new levels of results in their lives. So what would you see as some mistakes that people might have or some misconceptions when they're coming into this, so we can blast them into the next level?
Yeah, I want everybody to imagine, say I have a son, okay? And okay, I do have a son coming up, okay? He's coming in about a month and a half, around there.
Let's confirm.
And his name's going to be Atlas, okay? And I just want you to imagine you come over, before you come over to my house, Atlas is, let's say 1.5 years old. And you're like, hey, how's Atlas doing? You listening to this, you're like, hey, how's Atlas doing? How's your son doing? Oh, he's doing great. He learned how to walk. You're like, oh, great. That's going to be so cool. When I'm there, I'm going to, get to see little Atlas walk because he learned how to walk. All right. And then you come over to my house and you're like, hey, how's it going? Like, great to see you guys. Awesome. And you see Atlas, you're like, wow, that looks like a genius baby. Like, he's amazing. Wow. Hey, Atlas, how you doing? And he's like, hi. He's like super young, but he can communicate a little bit. You're like, hey, I heard you learned how to walk. Can you show me how to walk? And he said, you put left foot in front of right foot and you put right foot in front of left foot. And you start cracking up because you're like, this is hilarious, man. Like, I asked him, show me that you learned how to walk. And he starts to describe, I put my left foot in front of my right foot in front of my left foot. And you start giggling because you think it's cute. And then you're like, hey, Alice, can you actually show me like that you learn how to walk? And I grab Alice. I grab my son. I'm like, whoa, you there. I said he learned how to walk. I didn't say he could actually walk. That's how we've gotten conditioned. Not through our childhood. Our childhood, we had the proper definition of walk, of learn, right? Which we're going to mention about what exactly learn is supposed to mean. But as we grew up, what we learned is that to learn means to memorize some shit, to see if you can regurgitate. You had some aha moment, right? You learn that to learn means, well, like I had a realization. I went to school. I can regurgitate this thing. I had some idea in my mind. I had a realization, as we talked about before. But Mitch, what is the best definition of learn?
I don't know, man. If Atlas explained that to me, I might just be convinced that he actually learned how to walk, right? No, obviously not, right? The best definition of learn, and write this down. Learn equals change.
Yep.
Very, very simple. Learning equals changing, right? And not just changing how you feel, like really, truly, verifiably changing, where someone could objectively say, oh, Atlas is walking, or oh, you are making more money, or oh, you have now closed X amount more clients. It is verifiable. It is objective. That's real change. Not, oh, as if you seem happier, man. You're changing. It's like, no. That doesn't make the cut, right? And this is where self-honesty comes in, right? That self-honesty check. We're now look at your life right now. You listening. Look at where were you 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, right? And now look at where you're at now. And then anticipate, where do you want to be in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, right? Okay. Now here's the telltale sign. Do you think you're learning new stuff? And if you immediately jump to, oh yeah, I'm learning, Okay,
Mm,
great.
mm.
You just proved to yourself how you actually think about this and how you define this word, right? And let me explain. If you look back, let's say 5 years ago to you now, right? And you're like, oh yeah, I learned, I changed a lot, man. What are you basing that off of? Right? Are you actually taking more responsibility? Do you have considerably more money hitting your bank account every month? Are you in a committed relationship? Do you have a stable family? Do you have kids or kids on the way? Like, are you actually taking more responsibility and physically changing? Or is it more like, oh yeah, I'm in a different headspace, man. Oh yeah, I'm more of an extrovert now.
Right.
Yeah.
I've gotten some, like I've learned a lot. I've gotten very valuable lessons from what I
Yeah,
was doing in the
lessons.
past, right? Lessons, big one.
Yeah, ooh, yeah, lessons, man. I'm learning lessons. Like, here's the ultimate lesson. Can you make more money, make more money show up in
Make
your
more,
bank?
can you make more bunnies right now?
Yes, exactly. Like a magician. You pull a bunny out of a hat, right? Like that's the real test is have you changed? Have you changed in your effectiveness in what you can actually do and cause to happen in the world? All right. So for you listening, right, let's really look at this. Let's see, can you now write out where have I like what have I actually learned? Question mark.
Mhm.
Right.
Now,
Maybe pause the audio and then look at that, right? Just for a moment and then come back to ask if you know.
yes, and write the following down. So remember, like Mitch said, learn equals change. To learn equals to change, right? And I would suggest writing this statement down as well. Okay. I commit myself to show that interchange without immediate outer change is a lie. I commit myself to show that interchange without immediate outer change is a lie. I'll say it one more time. I commit myself to show that I commit myself to show that interchange without immediate outer change is a lie. I know that we've all got programmed to think that if we change the way we feel about things and then we change the way we feel about our situation, we're vibrating differently, even though the external result didn't come, because it's all about feeling like you already have it before you have it. I know we all got programmed to think that way. It's not the best way to think about it. And the reason I tell, for those of you who missed the reason I told the baby story at the beginning, is because the point of that story is for you to be like, that's a stupid, like, that's ridiculous. There's no way that that would happen in real life where I say, yeah, oh, he learned how to walk. I didn't say he could actually walk. That would be that situation would exist if we applied the definition of learn that we've all accepted today. But when it comes to children, like we define learn, like, look, he learned how to play the piano. That kid is actually playing the piano. You guys see what I'm saying? Like he actually learned, look, he learned how to drive an ATV, right? We got 5-year-olds that are driving, 500 ATVs and, 3-year-olds that are driving ATVs. You can't fake that. And this is why what Mitchell was saying was make sure that what you've learned can be theoretically physically verified. I'm not saying go show your bank account to people. I'm saying it can theoretically be physically verified by another person. That's
And
how you know
as
that it's in your collective reality, not just in your inner reality. Go ahead, Mitch.
well, yeah, and there's this huge point, right? Because I can still remember like when I was maybe 5, 6 years ago, really starting to take this journey seriously of, hey, I really want my life to get better. Right. And then I remember being confronted with there's kind of two types of information out there. There's one information that's just like the feel good, like just think positive, man, just like change your thoughts, change your life, that kind of thing, right? Which is not actually true. But because I was so low vocabulary and I had basically failed at so many things in my life, I was just drawn to that like a moth to a flame. Okay. And then there's the other kind of advice that was like the really practical shit of like, hey, this is how you like build the company, right? This is how you collect the data and then, do email marketing and then you get a certain amount of leads and then a certain amount of conversion rate and all that stuff. I remember looking at that and being like, that is too much. Like that, it was like I immediately went into a point of chaos when I saw that, because I didn't have the vocabulary or the understanding to actually learn it so I could actually change my situation. And so this might be, for you listening to this, especially if you're a bit newer to what we're about, you might hit a point of inherent overwhelm when we bring up this statement of learning equals real change, because deep down you might realize you haven't fucking changed at all. Like at all. I mean, okay, you changed in the sense of you are a year older now. You probably have more stress. You're probably you probably been through a bit more like hardship and heartache. But aside from that, in terms of like physically what you're capable of doing in terms of like skills and like the ability to now create new things in your reality, that's now the point that you might hit. So Asif, what would be your advice for someone who's hearing this and maybe they've changed a little bit? Like there are a lot of people in this group that are changing a lot too and learning a lot where it's verifiable. But how would you hit that for maybe a bit of more seasoned pro and then a bit of a more like an beginner, someone newer to this process? How could they actually look at this to then actually start to change?
There's two things. I would say for the more so beginner, it doesn't mean this is your first time doing personal development. I mean, anybody who hasn't been walking this specific process for a while. Okay. The first thing you want to look at is the level of responsibility that you're taking now versus before. And how do you look at that? Okay, well, you're taking when you're a child, you don't take responsibility for very much. And then as you grow older, you start taking responsibility for yourself. Right. And then if you take on a new level of responsibility, that would be getting a job, start making money, because then you have to take more responsibility for yourself. That's still responsibility for yourself. If you get promoted in that job and now you're managing people, well, now you're taking a higher level of responsibility. If you decide to get a business, to start a business, now you're taking a higher level, massively higher level of responsibility for your finances, still yourself, right? And other people, if you add other people to your business. If you get into a relationship, that's another good way of looking at how much responsibility are you taking. If you're a man, have you been able to sell your wife on a vision that you're clear on, a purpose that you're clear on, that she wants to come along with you, where you guys are able to get married? That's another level of responsibility. You're looking at your level of responsibility, right? How much influence are you having? How many things do you have to respond to? For those of you who don't see that yet, responsibility equals response ability, your ability to respond, right? So how many things are you responding to on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? And for the more seasoned pros, this is actually another error that we make. And we talked about this a little bit on one of the audios that my internet connection was cutting out pretty bad. We were talking about the context, like within the context of looking at, you feel like you're regressing. You feel like you have to face like a problem that you thought you fixed a year ago, but you're facing it again. Don't go into the emotion of what you think the problem is. So for example, a lot of people who have gotten married and they've taken on a lot more responsibility and they're at like a certain level, they've been walking this process for some time, they're making a lot of progress. Sometimes if there's a problem in our relationship, we go into the emotion of it and we feel like we haven't changed at all. This is the flip side of what we've been saying. Don't measure your change based off how you feel. The way that looks like on the negative is you feel like you've changed, but you haven't actually changed. On the flip side of that is you actually have changed. You actually have been taking on more responsibility, but you feel the same level of shitty sometimes as you did in the past. Well, that's always going to be the case. When you feel that level of shit, that means you need to take on more responsibility. You need to learn something new. There's an educational piece that you haven't figured out yet. You don't know how to work with your emotions. You don't know how to work with your partner's emotions. You don't know how to sell people. You don't know how to take care of your finances. And that will cause the same internal experience as waking up at 9 a.m. to go to your job it was so stressful to you, 2 years ago, it will cause the same internal experience. That's why you shouldn't measure whether or not you've changed based off how you feel. You guys getting what I'm laying down? It's not based on how you feel. Look at the level of responsibility that you've been taking on. It's a really good way to measure.
Exactly. Was that both of them?
Yes. So in the season, actually, thank you for bringing that back up. For the season pro, the best way to measure if you're taking on more responsibility, let's say you already got the partner, she's already pregnant, you already have the purpose point clear. You know that you're here to change the system and you understand all the reasons why, and you can explain it to somebody else and close them on it because you're so clear on it. You should measure your progress based off your finances. You should measure your change based off of how your wife is feeling. I know this sounds super weird. Okay. Something to consider is, and I'm not just saying how she's feeling on an energetic basis. I'm saying if if there's a recurring problem with your partner, you have to look at that as feedback as to where you lack education. Okay. And look, these are points that we're mentioning on these audios, but there's really so much nuance to it. So much nuance. Understanding how to use your partner as a measuring stick of where you need to change, and understanding when to use money as the measurement and when to use your inner game as a measurement, which if you're not completely clear on that, that's why we'd highly suggest like just reaching out and being able to converse if you're stuck on that point, right? But really looking at how can you measure your money as a reflection of your progress, as a reflection of your change. And again, this is only for the people who already have their purpose clear, who are already in relationships, who are already pushing the family point, the purpose point, the community point, all of that. Money is the next thing to measure. Right? Mitch, anything you want to add to that?
I mean, you really you got it good. Yeah, money and how effective you are at then selling people on seeing things in the best way. I'll just put it like that, right? Like if you're making all your freaking money, right, selling, I don't know, solar door to door, or you got a solar panel company or something, or I don't know, you flipping, we got all sorts of businesses in here, right? If that's the only way that you're making money, right, that's limitation, right? So now you have to take on, like, think about it like this. Just look at it for you listening. If you were to look at everyone around you, right, who has the biggest or best purpose out there that you've seen? Right? Who has that? Of people that you're actually connected to, that you could actually see yourself doing, to some extent. Right? Look at that. And then I would commit yourself to that. Like when you're living out that purpose and you're surrounded by people doing that, it's like jet fuel gets injected into what you're doing. Right? Because there's going to be good days and bad days and ups and downs and all that stuff. But when you have that network of people committed to the biggest purpose, right? Like the other day, I was looking at some ad. I got hit with some ad on Facebook, like I always do, right? Like we all do. And it was like a picture of these people that were running this coaching company. And their coaching company was like, we help business owners hit their first, 10K in profit or something. And I was just looking at the photo and I was like, are these people really fulfilled doing that? Like, that's what you're going to choose your life to do? Like business coaching to just get to 10K, like no sense of like, oh yeah, and our community's here to go for this level of success, or like we're here to like change something or like really make a difference. It was just like, we're here to help people hit X amount of money per month in their coaching business, and whatever your coaching business is totally fine. It's like, that is an empty life. Like, okay, if that's your current business right now and you're like, oh, that's how I make my money or whatever, how dare you? It's like, well, one, look at your reactions to that. Two is, okay, if that's what's paying the bills right now, sure, don't shut it off. Don't shut it off. But why are you playing so small? Like, really, why are you playing so small? you get one life, right? So that's why I'm here. That's why Asif is here. That's why the core people in the Young Billionaires Club are here. So it's not just the young club, right? Where we just hang out and have happy hour, whatever the fuck young people are doing nowadays. It's like, this is the Young Billionaires Club, where we're supporting people to, yeah, make a lot more money, have a business, but then also have purpose to it, right? Because we're going all the way to the top. That's what we're about. If that's too much and that intimidates you, okay, cool. Just look at billionaire and look at it as just, how can you be the best, most effective version of yourself? If you make billions of dollars, or you impact billions of lives, or you can do something that influences a major amount of change, right? Look at it like that then, if billionaire is too much and it scares you, right? Because the information here is pure freaking gold. And our starting point of this, the reason why we do this is because we are here for the new 1%.
Yes.
We have a system to it. Right? We know we can create it. We've seen it in other people. We've seen people go from total confused loser to crushing it in a pretty quick time. And so that's right. That's the one point I want to include too, in terms of learning and changing, is look at it as well as in the context of, what are you actually here to do, and what are you going to do with your one life? Right? Because we aren't here for just anyone. But if you're here just to, oh, I just want to make money, haha, like, okay, come on, think bigger.
Mm-hmm. So look at this, guys. If you had any cognitions from this audio, if you've had any cognitions from our other audios, just consider, why don't you also know this stuff? Why isn't this stuff also resonating from you, where you can explain it ultra well? And look, here's the reality between myself and Mitchell and Seth and Kian. We've spent over $250,000 to get this information inside of us. The things that we share with you, there's been a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of tears, a lot of blood, a lot of sweat that went into actually sifting through what works. And that's why we're creating this. The audios here are to show you that there's a lot more specificity to change than you actually think. And that's why we're creating certain things in order to support those who want to integrate the business mindset. And so if you just need support with that in terms of just ironing out, hey, Mitch, like, I just wanted to contact you to get like a quick audit on like, where am I not seeing like my growth point? Or, hey, Asif, like, just wanted to, I appreciate the audios. I was just curious if you can help me with this aspect of my life. I feel like I'm not seeing the growth that I want to see. Whatever that looks like for you, we know that for Mitch and myself, the best way to support you is one-on-one. Because again, this audio is to see if you have a cognition from this, then that's your acknowledgement that there's more to understand. There's more to learn. There's more to actually integrate than what you've known before. And the way that we do that is through one-on-one to see, what is it that you're actually lacking? Is it, a little skill that you need to implement? Is it an opportunity that you need? Is it, the technical know-how? Is it a mindset point? Is it a tool? Is it a course? Is it a mentorship? Is it a group? We don't know until we actually get to talk to you one-on-one, right? And that's what Mitchell was sharing, is like, look, we know from experience of walking people through change, walking people through learn, right? Walking them through what they need to learn in order to get the results they want. That's why it's so important, right? We've talked about this before, of being able to reach out. For me, being able to reach out to Mitch one-on-one is extremely valuable, like literally financially, because the way I'm measuring change is, did it make me more money? Did it get the result I want? You guys see what I'm saying? So when I say that Mitch has supported me to learn something new or change something, you know how I'm measuring it. And then you know that if you reach out to me, if you reach out to Mitch, if you reach out to Ken, if you reach out to Seth, you know that the way we're measuring if you've learned something from us is what? If you've changed. if you're taking more responsibility, if you're making more money.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And shout out to the 4 people I'm talking to over the weekend that
Right.
have already hit me up, right? Because we get a lot of people DMing us about this, which is cool. So, but what makes it easier for Asif and I to know exactly what is the point you're reaching out about? For this one, just DM us the word change in all caps. Okay. So all capital letters, just hit up with change and say like, hey, had some insight, you open a chat at some point. It's quick. It's like 10-minute, 15-minute phone call, and we can help you diagnose what it is. So again, Young Billionaires Club. Okay. If you're feeling a holdback right now, imagine what's going to happen a year from now. Right. So we want to help you catalyze and really be moving. And if you're already used to moving really fast, like we're here to just make sure you're doing that right. So if you're moving really fast in the wrong direction, that's dangerous. Right. So we can help you kind of calibrate like a GPS, right? Make sure your GPS is right on course.
Other than that, man, I'm just munching on something eating dinner because I know we have a call coming up. But
Yep.
guys, like the importance of making a move when you have a cognition in your mind is probably the most important thing you can learn. If you just leave yourself at, oh, I had a cognition in my mind, therefore I got the value that I needed to get out of this information, it's the hardest thing to learn, but it's probably one of the biggest problems. And that's why we're talking about this. You're not learning until you change. Okay. So just really suggesting everyone to consider this. And if you're getting something specific out of this, comment it below, leave a message, share this with people who you see need to hear this. Right. And maybe they don't even know they need to hear it until you share it with them. Right. But again, like me and Mitch share, the people that have been listening to these audios and taking action on them, I have people getting married, making massive life decisions, opening 2 new businesses, one person opening 2 new businesses because of these audios, because of them taking action on these audios, actually learning something from these audios, right? I have somebody who gotten divorced, who made finally the decision. He's been dragged along. They don't have any kids or anything like that, but they've been holding themselves back because they didn't have the self-esteem and the desire and the support to know that if I let this go, I can move on to something bigger and greater. We had people willing to make that big of a move because they're willing to actually learn, to actually change. So you never know the impact that you can have by sharing this audio with 3 people. So take that opportunity to share this when you can. And for yourself, look at it for yourself. What do I need to learn from this? What do I need to learn from this? It's always the question that Mitch is asking himself. I'm asking myself. We put it into our technical tutor regularly of what am I actually learning from this? What do I have to learn from this? And other than that, Mitch, like, is there anything else you want to add before we go?
No, just look at that for yourself first. And then, yeah, don't underestimate the power of then getting that outside feedback because, we're here to go to the top and, it'd be fun if you went with us. So, yeah, come on the Sunday call, right? Check out our new Facebook group, the Young Billionaires Club. It's in the description of these videos, right? Hit up me and Asif through the DMs. And yeah, we're looking to sharing a lot more trainings in there that we do exclusively for the Facebook group. And that's beyond just the Discord stuff. So yeah, let's carry on till next time. All right. See you, everyone.
See you later, guys.